The Liverpool Public Library presents Cloud Contacts, Evil Plot or Great Service? I want to talk about Apple's iCloud and Google Contacts. A lot of people are terrified of them. They think these cloud services are part of some evil plot to get their hooks into all their personal data and use it for their own nefarious reasons. They're very uncomfortable with the idea of their personal contacts being out there and used by those people. If you're one of those people, I'd like to take you back a few years to the days of old-fashioned cell phones. You know, dumb phones, flip phones, whatever. Back then, entering contacts on your phone was a painstaking affair that involved entering the information on a keypad that wasn't really designed for alphanumeric typing. Can you imagine trying to type in this contact information on this? It was not fun. Wouldn't it be easier to be able to type it in on your computer and have it go to your phone? But you couldn't do it, at least not in the beginning. And suppose you bought a new phone or lost your old one. If you bought a new phone, you might be able to save all your old contacts from the phone itself to the removable SIM card, put the old SIM card in the new phone, and be all set. Or maybe you couldn't do that because the manufacturers were different and the systems were incompatible and would have to painstakingly enter all those contacts into the new phone. Not bad if you only had 8 contacts. Not fun if you have 80. So when the age of the smartphone arrived, the age of the internet-connected smartphone, the makers of the 2 big smartphone operating systems decided to try to do something about this for their users. Suppose you could enter your contacts on your computer from a real keyboard and have them go to your phone without a cable. Suppose the contacts on your phone were stored in such a way that they automatically updated on all your devices, your computer, your tablet, and any other computer you decided to try to access them from. Suppose the contacts on your phone were stored in such a way that when you bought a new phone, all you had to do was sign into your account, and there they were. No muss, no fuss, no fighting with SIM cards. Well, that's what Apple did with iCloud, and Google did with Google Contacts. They each store your contact information on their servers under your iCloud or Google account, so that you can get to it from any device, if you have the right password. So if you update my phone number on your cell phone, it gets updated online, which updates it on your computer and your tablet. It also means that you can enter all these contacts to your cloud account from your computer with a nice big screen and a real keyboard, and have them magically appear on all your devices. Now, I can see that some of you are still a bit antsy about that. Why do these companies need all this information about me? Well, as Rep Butler might say, frankly, my dear, they don't. They don't really care that you know Fiona O'Malley DeVito of Liverpool or Lisa Dominici of Brooklyn. They don't want the information about you, and they're not using your contact info. They're storing it for you, so you can get to it from anywhere when you need it. I worked for Apple for a while, and I know that they're very skittish about anything having to do with your personal information, sometimes to the point of not being willing to help you when they could, because of accusations you might make. They don't want the responsibility that comes with knowing your personal information, and I can only imagine that Google is pretty much the same way. This is a service they're providing for you, and you don't have to use it. You can opt out of all these services when you set up your phone, tablet, or computer. But when you do this, you're making life harder for yourself in the long run. I've known a lot of people who came to me panicked because they lost all the contacts on their phone. If they had either iCloud or Google Contacts turned on, it was relatively easy to get those contacts back. If they had neither turned on, they were looking at a long day of re-entering all their contacts on that tiny keyboard by hand. And here's the good news. Even though Apple's iCloud and Google's Contacts are 2 different systems, if you ever decide to move from one system to the other, it's relatively easy to transfer your contact information. That's right, you can shoot your iCloud contacts over to Google Contacts and your Android phone, or you can shoot your Android contacts over to iCloud and your iPhone. Heck, you can even just use Google Contacts on your iPhone. So, are iCloud and Google Contacts evil plans for world domination, or useful services that make your life easier? I'll let you make your own decision, but I know what I think.